Have you ever felt as if the universe itself is whispering to you, urging you to look within and explore the depths of your soul? Moments like a lunar eclipse, such as the one on September 17th, often carry profound significance, especially for those walking a spiritual path. This celestial alignment, with the Earth standing between the Sun and the Moon, serves as a reminder that beyond the physical phenomenon lies a deeper call, a cosmic invitation to reflect, to connect with the divine purpose that dwells within. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny like the eclipse, which casts a temporary shadow over the moon. Our own periods of darkness can be opportunities for renewal." In these times, when the moon is hidden and then reborn with renewed light, we too are called to let go of outdated thoughts and behaviors that hold us back. It's a challenging transformation, a death of the old self and a rebirth into a truer, more radiant you. When life seems dark and overwhelming, think of these moments as sacred opportunities to grow, to seek a higher understanding of who you are, and to emerge stronger, aligned with God's greater plan. Stay with this message, it might just speak to the change unfolding within you right now. In the journey of our spiritual lives, moments like a lunar eclipse symbolize powerful transformations, opportunities for inner renewal and deep healing. They are like mirrors that reveal to us the wounds, traumas, and barriers that have prevented our growth and hindered our connection with God. When these shadows arise, it is often uncomfortable or even frightening. Yet, as C.S. Lewis eloquently put it, pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. This profound insight suggests that the discomfort we experience is not meant to destroy us, but to awaken a deeper awareness of God's work within us. Just as the shadows cast during the eclipse are not our enemies, the pain and struggle we endure are not meant to be permanent afflictions, they are an invitation to transformation. This process of transformation during the eclipse is much like sifting through the old, unresolved corners of our hearts and minds. We often carry scars from past losses, struggles, and relationships that have left us wounded and burdened. These memories, which may resurface powerfully during such a time, are not merely painful recollections, they are opportunities to revisit, learn, and release. C.S. Lewis once spoke about the necessity of facing our past. Honestly, getting over a painful experience is much like crossing monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. During this eclipse, God calls us to look at our past experiences and ask ourselves, what lesson was God trying to teach me through this? How can this trial become a testimony of God's grace? The eclipse acts like a spiritual broom, sweeping through the hidden crevices of our soul. Just as one would clean a house, it's time to clean our inner house, bringing light into the shadows of our lives. Imagine God's loving hand guiding you to remove the cobwebs of resentment, fear, and doubt, revealing the beauty of who you truly are. Often, it is the false beliefs about ourselves, our unworthiness, our shame, our failures that prevent us from fully stepping into God's love and grace. These shadows can make us feel distant from God, yet they are precisely the areas where He longs to bring healing and restoration. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream, said Lewis, and so, with each release of a painful memory or limiting belief, we make room for the new dreams God has placed in our hearts. But this journey is not a passive one. The eclipse is a clarion call for action, for us to participate actively in our healing and transformation. As Christians, we are called to be doers of the word, and not hearers only. James 1 verse 22. It is a time to take inventory of our hearts, asking God to reveal anything we are holding on to that no longer serves our walk with Him. What fears have kept you bound? What unforgiveness is lingering in your heart? It may be uncomfortable to confront these areas, but the freedom found on the other side is worth the process. Embracing this cleansing and renewal allows God to fill those once dark spaces with His love, peace, and purpose. This inner transformation doesn't stop with us, it ripples outward to touch the lives around us. C.S. Lewis said, "We are mirrors whose brightness is wholly derived from the sun that shines upon us." Our journey of healing and surrender to God not only renews us personally, but becomes a beacon of hope and light for others. In undergoing our own transformation, we contribute to the collective healing and awakening of humanity. God uses our individual breakthroughs as seeds of encouragement for those who are still bound in their struggles. Through your courage to let go, to forgive, to grow, you inspire others to do the same, becoming a living testimony of God's grace and power. As this eclipse offers you a chance for deep reflection, remember that the shadows are not here to haunt you, but to be healed by the one who knows every corner of your soul. Let go, allow God's light to penetrate the darkest parts of your life, and witness the profound transformation He can bring. In doing so, you not only heal your own heart, but also become part of God's greater plan to bring healing and hope to the world. In moments of transition, such as an eclipse, there is often a sense of heightened awareness and intensified sensitivity to the energies that surround us. It is as though a curtain has been lifted, allowing us to feel the vibrations of our own inner world and the collective consciousness more acutely. This sensitivity can leave us feeling vulnerable, disoriented, or overwhelmed, yet it also offers a profound gift and opportunity to tune into the deeper truths of our lives. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." During an eclipse, stillness becomes more than an act of peace, it becomes a means of grounding ourselves, anchoring our souls amidst the shifting tides of energy. When we ground ourselves through walking barefoot on the earth, seeking refuge in nature, or meditating with the intention of balance, we allow God's creation to center us, to draw us closer to His heart, and to transform our sensitivity into a source of strength. This sensitivity is not to be treated as a burden or a flaw. It is a gift bestowed by God, allowing us to perceive the world around us more deeply and to connect with the unspoken emotions of others. As C.S. Lewis wrote, "We are mirrors whose brightness is wholly derived from the sun that shines upon us in times of spiritual sensitivity. We mirror the light and truth of God, reflecting not just our own inner state, but also the greater divine plan." Yet, without grounding, this sensitivity can consume us, leading to confusion and a sense of being lost. It is crucial, therefore, to remain rooted in God's love and in the practices that restore our balance, embracing this sensitivity as a tool to draw nearer to God, rather than as a cause for anxiety. During such times, our relationships can become illuminated with new clarity, as the eclipse casts light on connections that may have otherwise remained hidden in the shadows. The people in our lives, the bonds we hold, are suddenly seen for what they truly are, some bringing joy, others revealing themselves to be sources of energy drain, and still others holding us back from the spiritual growth to which God is calling us. This is not a time for hasty decisions or reckless abandon. Instead, it is a season for careful evaluation, an honest look at who supports us in our journey of faith and who may no longer align with the path God has laid before us. Proverbs 27 verse 17 speaks of the power of true connection as iron sharpens iron. So one person sharpens another. This is an opportunity to nurture those relationships that refine and strengthen us, and to reevaluate the boundaries of those that do not. This time of revelation invites conscious decisions that do not necessarily call for abrupt endings, but for thoughtful adjustments to boundaries and expectations. To adjust boundaries is to love both oneself and others well, recognizing that every person has a role to play in our spiritual development. Releasing certain bonds may be difficult, but it is an act of obedience and trust in God's greater vision for our lives. The eclipse, with its intense energy and its capacity to reveal the unseen, becomes a compassionate guide in this process, allowing us to let go not in anger or haste, but with love, understanding, and the acknowledgement that sometimes releasing is a path to growth. The eclipse's most profound effect may be the revelation of hidden truths about ourselves, our relationships, and our mission in God's plan. This unveiling can be uncomfortable, forcing us to confront the aspects of our lives and our hearts that we have kept hidden, even from ourselves. Yet, as Jesus declared in John 8, verse 32, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." To walk in truth is to walk in the light of Christ, aligning every aspect of our being with His divine purpose. The process of revelation is rarely easy. It demands vulnerability, humility, and the courage to look beyond the facade we often present to the world. But in this revelation lies the promise of transformation, of stepping into a life more deeply aligned with God's calling and more fully attuned to His voice. In this season of heightened sensitivity and spiritual realignment, we are invited to draw closer to God, to ground ourselves in His truth, to reevaluate our connections with wisdom and love, and to embrace the uncomfortable revelations that lead to freedom. It is a time to be grateful for the gentle, guiding hand of God, who uses even the cosmic dance of the sun and moon to lead us closer to Him, revealing our path, shaping our relationships, and uncovering the truths that set us free. For in the midst of all that shifts, His love remains constant, a firm foundation that can never be shaken. The eclipse is not just an astronomical phenomenon, it is a divine metaphor for the turning points in our lives, a moment when the familiar fades, and we are offered an opportunity to look inward, confront what lies in the shadows, and realign ourselves with our deeper purpose. In many ways, it is akin to those times in Scripture when God speaks in whispers during the storm or reveals profound truths in moments of darkness. As Psalm 139 verse 12 tells us, "Even the darkness will not be dark to you, the night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you." The eclipse becomes a spiritual catalyst, revealing the dissatisfaction and unrest we might otherwise bury beneath our routines. It is a call to action, a summons to courageously face what needs change. We are invited to see this temporary darkness as an unveiling, removing illusions, shedding false narratives, and bringing into focus the areas in our lives where we yearn for more authenticity, peace, and alignment with God's purpose. Much like the way a seed breaks open in the dark soil to sprout new life, the eclipse offers the chance for new beginnings. This time of spiritual intensity allows us to plant seeds of intention and hope, urging us to look beyond the present circumstances and visualize a future that is in harmony with our God-given dreams and desires. As Proverbs 16 verse 3 reminds us, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." The energy surrounding this celestial event carries the force to drive manifestations into reality. It challenges us to set our eyes not just on temporary desires but on eternal growth, seeking to live in a way that magnifies the goodness of God. It encourages us to take that leap of faith, trust in God's timing, and allow the unknown to be a canvas for divine possibilities. During such moments, transformation becomes inevitable. We are pushed to redefine our purpose and mission in life. This echoes the journey of many biblical figures who, during periods of intense uncertainty and change, found a clearer vision of their calling. Think of Moses standing before the burning bush or Paul on the road to Damascus, moments of profound encounter that served as bridges between past mistakes, uncertainties, and a future filled with divine purpose. An eclipse, in its temporary darkness, serves a similar function. It forces us to confront our past, while simultaneously pushing us forward into a future crafted by the hands of God. It is a passageway, an invitation to see life through the lens of destiny rather than regret. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else." The metaphor of light and darkness in the context of an eclipse serves as a profound spiritual reminder that darkness is but a fleeting shadow, a veil that prepares us for the greater clarity and brightness to come. It is in this momentary pause, when the light of the sun is obscured, that we are given the chance to recalibrate our vision. Our struggles, our fears, and our uncertainties are momentarily magnified, but only so that they can be properly seen, understood, and then illuminated by the light of God's grace. This period also calls for urgency, a shift in perception that makes once hidden issues impossible to ignore. It is a time for decisive action, whether it means starting a long-awaited venture, letting go of relationships that no longer serve your spiritual growth, or redefining how you see yourself in the world. The eclipse's energy is a spiritual alarm clock, waking us up to the reality that life is not static and that God's purpose for us is ever unfolding. It echoes the words of Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, "To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." This is a time to act, to seize the clarity that comes from divine revelation, and to move forward with a faith that is unshakable, even when the future is unknown. In moments like these, we are reminded to give thanks to God for guiding us through both the darkness and the light. For it is in these moments of cosmic alignment that He reveals the pathways we are to walk. May we embrace this season as a time of introspection, transformation, and decisive action, knowing that God's hand is ever upon us, leading us through the shadow into His marvelous light. Throughout the Bible, God uses the natural world to speak to our spirits, to awaken our hearts, and to guide our steps toward healing and renewal. The energy of a lunar eclipse, for example, offers a profound metaphor for the movement of the soul, an invitation to pause and listen to the whisper of the universe, the voice of God that seeks to connect us more deeply with His creation. Just as the eclipse sharpens the light of the moon by temporarily obscuring it, so does God's grace illuminate our path through the darkness of our challenges and uncertainties. Psalm 19 verse 1 tells us, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of His hands." This verse reminds us that God uses every celestial event, every shifting season, to reveal His glory and to draw our attention to the signs of His presence. When we tune into these divine cues, our intuition becomes sharper, our spiritual awareness deepens, and we begin to see beyond the physical world into the eternal tapestry of God's purpose. The spiritual rebirth that comes after the shadow of the eclipse has lifted mirrors the transformation God desires within each of us. In the same way that the darkness gives way to light, revealing a clearer sky, God desires to strip away the confusion, fears, and misconceptions clouding our spiritual sight. This is not merely about changing thoughts or actions, it is a deep-seated transformation of the heart. An alignment of our being with the divine frequency and purpose God has designed for us. Romans 12 verse 2 encourages us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." When we allow God to renew our minds and spirits, we find a balance that echoes His divine rhythm, a rhythm that guides us through life's trials and victories, through moments of uncertainty to moments of undeniable clarity and joy. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird, it would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg." We are like eggs at present, and you cannot go on indefinitely being just an ordinary, decent egg. We must be hatched or go bad. The eclipse serves as a reminder that transformation is not only necessary but is the doorway to living fully in God's purpose. The moments of darkness in our lives, those shadows of pain, grief, or unresolved wounds are not meant to consume us, but to bring us to a place of profound healing. When an eclipse uncovers these buried emotional wounds or broken relationships, it's not to reopen them for more suffering, it's an invitation to God's grace, a chance to confront, heal, and release what has long been held in the depths of our souls. As Jesus said in Matthew 11 verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It is a divine opportunity to let go of old patterns, to make space for God's peace to flow in, and to begin anew with a fresh sense of purpose and meaning. The healing that a lunar eclipse symbolizes is not limited to one part of our being, it's a holistic process that touches emotional, physical, and spiritual realms. Emotional wounds can manifest physically as stress, tension, or an overwhelming sense of burden. The eclipse, much like the presence of God, helps release the bottled-up energy and suppressed emotions, bringing a sense of freedom and lightness. It's a reminder that God's healing power can restore us not just in spirit, but in body and mind as well. Isaiah 40 verse 31 proclaims, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles, they will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." God's healing touches every aspect of our being, bringing us into a wholeness that allows us to move forward in life with renewed strength and purpose. The transformation of our relationships is often one of the most significant changes that occur during times of spiritual upheaval or renewal. Lunar eclipses can reveal hidden truths within our connections, especially those that have caused pain or instability for a long time. When these truths are brought to light, we are often faced with difficult choices whether to establish clearer boundaries, to extend forgiveness, or to let go of relationships that no longer serve our spiritual growth. This mirrors the call in Ephesians 4 verse 15 to speak the truth in love and to grow together in unity and maturity in Christ. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to step away or redefine a relationship, not in bitterness, but in the pursuit of God's peace and mutual benefit. It is through His wisdom and guidance that we navigate these transformations. Each lunar eclipse, each season of shadow and light, is a chance to draw closer to Him, to find healing, and to live out the divine calling placed on our lives. When we trust in His purpose, even in the moments of darkness, we discover the fullness of life that He desires for us, a life marked by renewal, grace, and unending love. In the dance of celestial events, the lunar eclipse stands as a mirror to our own lives, a time of deep introspection, spiritual connection, and transformation. Much like how David in the Psalms calls us to search me, God, and know my heart, test me, and know my anxious thoughts. Psalm 139 verse 23. The eclipse encourages a compassionate journey within. It's a rare moment of self-reflection, a time to recognize areas of our lives that need self-forgiveness and release. How often do we find ourselves trapped in cycles of self-doubt or unworthy patterns of thinking? Just as the moon moves through phases of light and shadow, we too must learn to accept both our strengths and our weaknesses, acknowledging past mistakes, not with condemnation, but with the grace to let go and start anew. C.S. Lewis, in his exploration of spiritual life, once said, "Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less." This profound statement invites us to engage in a deeper spiritual connection, particularly during moments of inner silence and stillness. The lunar eclipse symbolizes an opportunity to quiet the noise of our daily routines and listen more closely to the whispers of our soul. Whether through meditation, prayer, or simply being still before God, this is a sacred time to align our hearts with our higher purpose, surrendering our anxieties and seeking a closer relationship with the divine. The stillness of the night sky serves as a canvas for our spiritual growth, an invitation to journey beyond the noise of the world and into the depths of our being. In these moments, our inner voice becomes clearer, and we begin to discern God's path for our lives more intimately. The eclipse also marks a period ripe for manifesting future intentions. In Proverbs 16 verse 9, it is written, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." This verse reminds us that while we are called to envision and dream, our plans are ultimately aligned with God's will. The eclipse represents a time to plant seeds for the future, whether it be dreams, hopes, or visions for what is yet to come. It's a time to align our actions with our desires and trust that the supportive energies of this cosmic event will help bring our intentions to fruition. It teaches us to believe that as we commit our plans to God, He will guide our paths and help manifest the dreams He has placed within our hearts. Moreover, the symbolism of the eclipse reflects the natural cycles of life, light and shadow, beginnings and endings. There is beauty in this rhythm, much like Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 states, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." The darkness we experience in our lives, the challenges, the struggles, the moments of despair are not permanent but part of the process of growth and evolution. Periods of shadow allow for new perspectives to be born, and after each eclipse comes a renewal of light, illuminating the way forward. We are reminded that the darkest night is always followed by the dawn, and in every ending there is the promise of a new beginning. As the eclipse passes, many experience a profound sense of inner transformation. Perhaps it manifests as newfound peace, clarity, or an awareness of one's life purpose. The spiritual work done during this period bears fruit, often resulting in a shift of perspective or a deeper connection to oneself and God. Romans 12 verse 2 encourages us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This transformation is not merely external, but is an inner change, a renewal that brings us closer to God's heart and our authentic selves. The eclipse also serves as a powerful reminder of empowerment and the opportunity to align with our life's purpose. It's a moment to shed the burdens that weigh us down, embrace our strengths, and step forward confidently into the mission we are called to fulfill. The universe, as God's creation, supports this new phase of growth, abundance, and fulfillment. It is a call to step out of the shadows and shine, recognizing that God's grace enables us to rise above our limitations and walk boldly in our calling. Lastly, the eclipse is an opportunity for renewal and reflection. It highlights areas in our lives that may need healing and transformation, habits, beliefs, or relationships that have hindered our growth. Much like the prophet Isaiah calls for a renewed heart in Isaiah 43 verse 19, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up, do you not perceive it?" This cosmic event invites a pause to evaluate what must be released to embrace new possibilities fully. Yet for true renewal to happen, we must have the courage to face and integrate our internal shadows. The eclipse exposes hidden fears and self-imposed limitations, not to overwhelm us, but to lead to greater self-awareness and empowerment. As C.S. Lewis wisely pointed out, God allows us to experience the low points of life in order to teach us lessons that we could learn in no other way. This transformative period, like a refining fire, burns away what no longer serves us and shapes us into a clearer reflection of who we are meant to be. May we embrace this time of the eclipse as a gift, a sacred pause to reflect, renew, and realign with our deeper purpose. And as we walk forward, let us carry with us the hope and promise that God's light will always lead us through the darkness, guiding us into the fullness of who we are created to be. When we witness the mysterious beauty of a lunar eclipse, it often stirs deep emotions within us. The moon, a timeless symbol of reflection and change, draws out hidden memories, unresolved feelings, and moments of introspection. It's a gentle reminder of Psalm 139 verse 23, "Search me, O God, and know my heart, test me, and know my anxious thoughts." Such times of heightened sensitivity are not meant to overwhelm us, but to bring our unspoken struggles to light, allowing God's healing to work within our hearts. This moment of emotional depth is an invitation to understand how far we've come, acknowledge our wounds, and find solace in His embrace. In times of darkness, like the moon hidden in the shadow of an eclipse, we are called to trust our intuition, the light within us that never truly fades. Proverbs 3 verse 5 encourages us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. It's a sacred invitation to surrender our uncertainties, letting our inner guidance and faith lead us when the path is unclear. For those chosen to walk a different journey, the eclipse represents a turning point. This celestial event is God's gentle nudge to break free from stagnant patterns and align ourselves with His divine purpose. Sometimes this means letting go of relationships, beliefs, or habits that no longer serve us. Much like C.S. Lewis once said, getting over a painful experience is much like crossing monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. Letting go creates space for the new to bloom. Preparing for the energies of the eclipse is an act of faith and intention. As we create sacred spaces through prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, we can release what burdens our spirit and invite God's presence to renew our lives. Meditating under the moonlight even during an eclipse becomes a moment of communion with God. Picture His light cleansing you, filling you with purpose, clarity, and healing. This practice can be a powerful way to embrace transformation, process emotional intensity, and deepen your walk with God, trusting that He is always guiding you toward your higher calling. The lunar eclipse serves as a powerful reminder of life's ever-changing nature and the need for grounding amid its intense energies. Just as a tree draws nourishment from the soil to stand firm, grounding connects us to earth, allowing us to integrate spiritual insights into our daily lives. The Bible speaks of being rooted and grounded in love, Ephesians 3 verse 17, a foundation that offers strength in times of spiritual upheaval. By spending time in nature, we establish this balance, serving as a bridge between heaven and earth, channeling divine wisdom into our reality. The eclipse on September 17th heralds a season of new opportunities. Doors that seemed forever closed will suddenly open. Dreams once stagnant may now flow with new life, and synchronicities will appear like divine breadcrumbs, guiding us to our path. This unfolding of possibilities is the fruit of our inner labor, as releasing what no longer serves creates space for the new. In Isaiah 43 verse 19, God promises, "I am doing a new thing, now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" Such moments remind us that every step of our journey has a purpose, preparing us for breakthroughs within God's perfect timing. Relationships, too, are impacted by the eclipse, bringing clarity and understanding. Like the moon that illuminates the darkness, this season reveals who aligns with your spiritual journey and who may be holding you back. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, 'What, you too?' I thought I was the only one." Surrounding oneself with those who uplift is crucial to spiritual growth and a renewed sense of self. As the moon shines fully again, a new chapter of renewal and hope begins. We are encouraged to trust the flow of life and have faith that all events work for our good. Trust in God's divine plan and know that He lovingly prepares you for every new beginning, guiding your steps toward the path of promise and peace.